There's an initiative we've come up with along with the Ministry of Health, the various diaspora medical associations in some parts of the world, US, Canada, UK, and even Africa. So it's called the Diaspora Professional Healthcare Initiative. And here's the thing, is that how do you work with doctors, Nigerian doctors abroad, along with their counterparts at home for a better health delivery? I mean, we keep saying, oh, we have some of the best doctors in the world. What do we do about that? So this initiative is a sort of collaboration between the fantastic doctors abroad, along with their fantastic doctors back home, for an improved healthcare delivery system. So it will focus on a lot of things. For instance, a doctor here in America can decide to spend some few months back home in Nigeria in his area of specialty. In some cases, it could even be just training.
Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, Chair and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission there, highlighting the objectives of the Diaspora Professional Health Initiative and the mode of operation for a successful engagement with active Nigerian health practitioners in a globalized and transnationally connected world. She embarked on an advocacy drive to Washington, D.C., venue of the annual Scientific Convention and Assembly of the Association of Nigerian Physicians in the Americas, AMPA. Now, most of the medical practitioners interested in improving the living conditions of families and population health in Nigeria showed interest in the initiative. However, they were concerned about what they called bureaucratic bottlenecks or red tape in the health sector in Nigeria and how the Commission would cross the hurdle for the disruptive kind of healthcare delivery that will change the current situation.
The usual structures we have in our ministries, both at the federal and the state level, are not designed for what you're trying to do. And we can beat our heads against that wall forever, it will never happen. The idea of it, you create a parallel structure, create your own budget. Dr. Lowe knows this, we've worked with her on AMPA for many years. Bring the people in, create the database, and run them through those universities after you've vetted the people who are actually receptive. Because regardless of what you say, there are people I work with in Nigeria today who are extremely receptive, smart, hardworking, motivated. So the key is, how do you find those people? And once you find them, how do you support them? Because when they try to write a grant and the DCSC refuses to sign the paper for them to write the grant, they lose, as we say, they lose faith.
Now, let us juxtapose that narrative with the experience of Dr. Wada Ibrahim, the Nigerian president of the Association for Fertility and Reproductive Health, who is also from the diaspora. He left for Nigeria about 20 years ago to add value to a particular area in the health sector.
What helped me was a one-way ticket. I must succeed. The field of high technology medicine that I brought home was even worse at that time because it was rather non-existent, so nobody believed it could happen. But yet, by breaking down each of the obstacles I saw compared to what I was doing when I was in Cambridge and Manchester, addressing them one by one and breaking the backbone of resistance to good medicine. Look at the story now. Nigeria is not the same place of darkness that I met. There is light and there's hope. The AMPA members have taken their turns to see what has happened under my watch, and they're impressed. It gives them hope. It gives them the feeling that all is not lost and that they too can try. I'm here on a mission. They've invited me to talk about public-private partnership in Nigeria's healthcare. As you know, we've been, over the past 11 or so years, managing a public hospital called Garki Hospital in Abuja, which was a run-down, abandoned project, if you will, but now is a beehive of activities, both in terms of the number of people that go there and advances in medical care. And that's another example. See, I had to convince myself that no matter what sacrifice I had to make, that Garki Hospital experiment must work.
Dr. Nicholas Azinge, also from the diaspora, was the Commissioner of Health in Delta State in the last dispensation under Governor Ifeanyi Okowa.
Prior to coming to the diaspora, I was lucky I had worked in the system before. I was a civil servant in the Delta state government, in the old Bendel state government. So I kind of blended easily with the Nigerian doctors I had to work with. They were nice to me, and I was able to merge the cultures of what I learned here in 20 years, and I brought some back. But I was also wary of the fact that you don't come all the time to bring new things to people. I learned a lot of things from the doctors who were resident in Nigeria. I was able to communicate with their problems. During the stay of the governor, we were able to stop a lot of strikes. We had to look for why did the doctors go on strikes. There was a division in the differences in salary, and we had to restructure some of it so that the closures were not as much as before. Same thing with the nurses. We were able to take things from here, but we are cognizant of the fact that the nurses in Nigeria are very well trained. So we had accreditation, and we tried to do some kind of programs from here and there in Nigeria. So it wasn't so difficult because I'd worked with them. So I had a good time with the nurses, the doctors, the pharmacists, even the lab technologists had a problem with the doctors. We tried to solve all those problems. And the governor was also excellent. Being a doctor himself, he was able to work with me, and we were able to take the healthcare system to an advanced stage. So the doctors here, I always advise them, they go for medical missions and all, but sometimes you have to relearn the culture. When you've left somewhere for 20 to 30 years, you acquire a new culture in the West. And sometimes when you go back to Nigeria, you have to relearn the culture, you have to be humble, and the people you are teaching, you have to make what you are teaching to them to be acceptable to them.
In Washington, D.C., Joy Usiago, NTA News.